Now I want to deal with another very important technique to convert a distant passed pawn. If the defender can't create passed pawns on its own, for example because he has backward pawns, then the following technique is very important. The attacker can try to stalemate the defending king with his distant passed pawn, and then the defender is forced to throw himself into his own sword by moving a pawn on the other wing, which can be taken, and then the attacker will get another passed pawn which will queen with decisive effect. For example, in this position, white should play g6 followed by the plan which I have just described. The usual plan to convert a distant passed pawn running to the other wing doesn't work here. King e5 would be a mistake. After king g6, black can draw, as white only has the rook's pawn on the queen side. After king f4, black can engineer the breakthrough b5, as the resulting queen endgame is drawn. Both sides are outside of the square of the passed pawns. And so a queen endgame will result, which is completely drawn as the defending king is in front of the passed pawn. And after queen j checks, black's queen can just come back, and black will be able to draw relatively easily. And if white continues with the usual plan to go to the queen side, then black can also draw relatively comfortably. As with the remaining rook's pawn, black's king just has to manage to come back to c8, as we have seen in one of the previous clips. And this can be easily done. You can calculate it first yourself, but black reaches the square even with a tempo to spare. Even with white to move in this moment after king b6, black can defend with king c8 and the position is drawn. So the usual plan is wrong here. This is one of the reasons why I showed you this technique, of course. And the right way is to stalemate black's king with the g pawn. If black tries the breakthrough now, then white will win the resulting queen endgame, as he can immediately start a mating attack against black's king. But staying passive also doesn't help. Now a breakthrough does not come into question anymore, as white's queen on b8 white's newly promoted queen on b8 would give immediate mate. So the king moves, and now white just stalemates the king, forcing the b pawn to move. Again, the b pawn must move. If the king moves, then after white's king reaches the key square, the g pawn will promote and white will mate soon. And after b5, white's pawn will queen first end with check, so that the game is over. So please remember this important technique to convert a distant passed pawn, which is applicable if the defender cannot create a passed pawn on his own, and if the breakthroughs are not dangerous, of course, so that the defender must throw himself into his own sword, in this case by having to play b7 or b6, b5. White takes with a pawn, and the white's new queen will decide the issue.